Hello there fellow humans and welcome to another shop review, and we're starting off with the new Season 6 tank. It's very simple. The tank is not really that good, and obviously if you have to spend money on it, don't do it. If you can get it for free, get it for free. That's about my summary of this vehicle. Then we get into the regular shop. Obviously this is one of the last shop reviews I'll ever do, because obviously the shop's quality is forever deteriorating down to a level that is simply unacceptable, that makes nothing worth buying anymore. And obviously in the Reforged update, most of these vehicles are going to be available simply through the sets. We have to unlock them in the set and you buy them in the set. So pretty much there's no point to make shop reviews anymore, only for new tanks that are going to be in overpriced crates that then I won't recommend, because they're obviously 200 bucks in crates. So as you can see already, there's pretty much a lot of crates. The Lorraine 50T is not worth it. It's a mediocre vehicle that works just about fine. It is not worth what it is. If it's a 12,000 gold in an auction, well, you can consider it, but that is a terrible price right there. Now, the TSL 7, I don't know why they keep bringing this back in containers. It probably sells really well in the containers, but I would definitely not buy this vehicle in containers. It's only got 2,000 DPM and 225 alpha damage, so it's just your average, boring, tier 8 medium tank right here. And mobility of it is average for a medium tank as well, so this is not a special tank that you definitely want. It's just funny looking, that's about it. And obviously in the resource section, the same thing as always goes. If it includes creds, it's not worth it. However, bundles like these that have gold and boosters as well, they're worth it if you need all of these boosters right here and the gold as well. So that's something you have to know yourself if you're trying to grind new tech trees before, you know, Wargaming puts everything into sets. The last remaining idea of tech trees, and for example something like this 50 times 5s, that is going to be very useful. I mean, 50 times 5s, if you're good, is enough for 3 tech trees going from like tier 7 to tier 10. That is a lot right there. You can get much done because, you know, with the times 5s you can get up to 8,000 XP per battle, so you can do a lot with those. And if you're trying to grind your last tech trees while you still can, then I definitely recommend picking up these times 5 bundles right there, because I don't know if there is going to be a times 5 system like this in the Reforged update as well, with the unlock mechanic there. Let's see how that's going to change though. Obviously we got large resupplies here. It's the same as before. You have boxes in here. I don't recommend it because, as I said, spending money on the Destiny is not really worth it, so ignore that. Then we have the tanks. Now, Tier 4A2 is one of the greatest tier rates in the game that I highly recommend. The problem is it's in here with the Waste of Space, also known as the TL7 120, which is a Tier 9 heavy tank with 400 alpha damage. It's basically a squished M103. You don't need it. It plays okay. It doesn't really make that great credits, so it's a fine tank, but it's a waste of space anyway. So it's wrong bundle, right tank, right here. This thing is great. Obviously, it was available for much cheaper, much better before. So 15,500 here is not a good price. These times 5s are also locked, which is never great, because then you have to waste all that XP on premium tanks. But yeah, 8.5k on its own. If you really, really need it right now, then go for it. However, this is not a good price for the T54E2 right now. There are much better offers out there. Now, the T2065, it is still a very decent vehicle. These times 5s are unlocked, which immediately adds value to the bundle, which is very lovely. So we have about 5,500 gold of actual value in this bundle, but it obviously costs 7,500 now because Wargaming needs to pay the developers to turn the game into Fortnite. So here we have a vehicle that is a upgraded super Pershing, basically. It's not the super Pershing, but it's a super Pershing. Or it's like the regular Pershing, but heavy and better. So we have 2.4k DPM here at 240 alpha damage, 10 degrees of gun depression. Very good armor on the gun mantlet especially. Obviously, these sides can be penned quite easily. The cupola can be penned as well, but if you use your 10 degrees, you can't really get penned. And the front plate isn't really all that good, but it is, if you're in a hull down position, it is thick enough to deflect, especially some tier 9 shots right there, because it's 152 millimeters. So if you bend this front plate down, you are gonna get some tanks, for example, like an STG as well, that won't be easily penetrating you here. So it is a decent tank. The price is a bit too high because bundles like this were always 5.5k. but now they're 7.5k it seems. But the ×5s are very useful. The vehicle is solid enough still, so I can recommend it if you are a tank collector that wants to have this kind of playstyle, or if you really love like a Pershing, or you already have the T-4 E2 and you want something a little bit worse, then the T-2065 is a great option to that. So there we have the Relentless Powers, which is exactly that. Bad. Because we have a tier 7 and a tier 8, the tier 8 is a T-28 Defender, which is not a real autoloader, obviously 6.67 into clip, so it doesn't play like an autoloader, it's just a weird regular gun. The armor is penetratable by the majority of tier 8 and tier 9 premium rounds, tier 9 standard rounds even, and the tier 7s are also gonna not have a easy time going through, but they are going to get through with most premium rounds anyway, so the armor is not really that great. The mobility obviously on this vehicle is better than the regular T-28 by not much, but it still works nonetheless. So this is not a vehicle that I would recommend to grind crits with or to have fun with. It's a vehicle that you collect if you like the way it looks, basically. And obviously the T-28 HTC is yeah, I don't talk about this tank because it's a waste of oxygen doing so. So I don't recommend this if you're a tank collector, maybe obviously to collect them, but otherwise, nope. And we have the Badger, which is actually pretty decent value here at 20k. Unfortunately, the ×5s are once again locked, but you're getting the T-time attachment. That's alone at least 20,000 gold of value right there. But the Badger is a pretty solid deal right here. If you are interested into the Badger, I think the Badger is probably the best of the tier 10 collectors that you can get at the moment still, so go for it. However, 20k still quite a thing. Now the shop future, this thing's been in the shop like 50 million times. Wargaming really loves selling this thing, and I still don't know why a French tank has a Mjolnir camouflage, but obviously Wargaming doesn't give a fuck about realism whatsoever, so I don't recommend it whatsoever. And then we have the Always Vigilant, which, lads, it's a tier 7 and a tier 6. I mean, a tier 6 is a meme tank, so if you collect meme tanks, and the CS52 is a pretty solid vehicle, so you might as well get that. But if you want a solid tier 7 and a meme tank, then this is a okay bundle. But otherwise, if you actually want to achieve things in game, like, I don't know, grind creds or do something meaningful, this is not the right bundle. But if you want to waste time and blow up tier 5s, then the SC100Y can be a good addition to your garage. So yeah, we have overpriced camos, and we have the esports section where you can get the Fearless tanks that are basically copies of the regular. I mean, the Lorraine 40T Fearless is slightly better than the regular Lorraine 40T, but no difference there. Premium account, obviously it's only for money now. They're adding boxes in here, which makes it a little bit less terrible. But as we've seen in the Reforged, there is gold available to use for your premium account purchases, so I wouldn't buy a premium account here. Obviously, open your free containers while you're at it, and then don't buy any of the crates, because crates are, in 99% of cases, negative return value. The same with draws as well. Got a mystery certificate here. You've got a LT containers, HT. You have these typical containers, but you're never gonna get the tank you want to have. That's the thing about gambling. Even if you get a tank, the chance that it's a tank that you actually want is still very low. So even if you win, you're still likely to lose. And now, let's go into a battle with the only tank that's actually worth remotely anything in the shop right now, and that's the T-54E2. Alright, here we go with the T-54E2 on a map that is pretty decently suited for it, because we can just play that ridgeline and get some decent shots on any direction. I do still hope that someone's going to hold this area here, because otherwise that could lead to some problems in the mid-battle. Okay, we got an IC-152 that's probably going to sit in that corner. Got a ELC MX-901, which I have no idea what that is, even though I'm probably testing it. So, let's see. Can't peek that. Gotta be careful that the IS-3 doesn't pop up his head. And he exactly does that. Have to be careful. Obviously, the STV just decides to drive in front of me and die. So, he's doing great right now. Just gonna wait for the ISU to cross. Shoot him. And now this is not a great position right here, because obviously the object is gonna come down, shoot the Titan, and then makes this position invalid. Be careful and move away from here. And the best thing I can do now is, yeah, it's a 50 TP player that you just love to see on your team. And the best thing I probably could do is either make use of the 50 TP's incompetence, because obviously this game is easily lost. Either make use of that, but push here, but that's not going to be possible because of the 704. Which means that there is nothing we can do, really, because if I go there, I'm dead. If I go there, obviously there's 3 people pushing. And, yeah, that's not going to help. Activate the adrenaline. I mean, the 50 TP has moved up here. So he's going to be a decent punching bag for a while that we can maybe use for a bit. The problem is I'm going to have to drive up here. I'm going to have to get through the ELC to be able to get at least some position off here to get rid of this guy. I want to get up there so I can, like, fight the other guys from the high ground here. And also maybe take out the ELC. Maybe take out the ISU. Have maybe an approach on those guys, but here is the Panther 2 already. That is not going to end very well. We're going to go for the ISU. The Panther is not chasing me, as it seems. So let's go for the 704 here. Probably going to get shot by him. I got a ELC right behind me. Who's going to shoot? I have no idea what gun that has, but it do seem to be a 2-shot autoloader. So let's see. Probably only going to get one more shot here. But that's probably still going to be the maximum damage on the team anyway. So, yeah. That's Blitz for you. Very enjoyable game. Of course it was. And because that was more of a show of the deteriorating match quality of World of Tanks Blitz than the T4E2, I'm also going to play the T26E5 right here as well. Obviously, remember, the more Wargaming caters to casual players, the worse the match quality is going to become in regular battles, and also in raiding battles to an extension, if Wargaming does implement the raiding system as they plan. So, remember, this is a strategy game on a phone. So, what's going to happen is that the majority of the people obviously have no idea of the strategy of the game, because they're playing on a phone. They're just doing it while they're currently having a number 2, or while they're on the train, or whatever. So, as more casuals enter the game, and the tutorial system continues to be as terrible as it is, because Wargaming changes everything except the tutorial, and makes an actually worthwhile tutorial, this game is going to decrease in gameplay enjoyment if you are trying to play well. So you have 2 options, and that is A, give up on caring, which is what I have done, or B, become terrible yourself. So, but you don't recommend doing that, and it's pretty much impossible. Once you've learned how to play the game, it's kind of impossible to unlearn how to do it. So, those are your 2 options going forward. Let's see, there is a T30 somewhere, so I'm just gonna be very risky here, take the hit point spot, as I always call it, where you peek out on purpose to try and bait an enemy into revealing their positioning by shooting at you. Obviously, the T30 is not the best tank to hit point spot against, because obviously it does have 600 alpha damage, so you kind of don't want to get shot by that. But let's see, we have a heavy tank that is a... I mean, we have 2 heavy tanks that are... I mean, I have generally not much optimism for the human race. But that is a whole new different level of bad. So, let's see. Here is the excellent turret armor of the T26, which is very, very nice, very useful. And now we're going to have to fight this T30, because those 2 guys obviously won't do that. And I have to fire at him 3 times for every time he fires at me. I'm also going to have to be the one that takes the shots, because those 2 are cowards that are going to hide in a corner. So I'm going to have to be very careful. Play the turret, watch the cupola as well, because that's the primary thing he wants to shoot at. And now what I want to do is, well, the Yak Panther's on 3 hit points, so we can be very happy about that. And now I am in a 1v5, 1v5 right here. So I do have 2 hit point sponges that assist me, but I will need to do all the work myself if I want to win this battle. And that's how you really have to consider playing this game. If you have 2 players like these 2 VKs on your team, you have to consider them as not teammates, but simply hit point sponges, instead of thinking, how can I help them, you have to think, how can I use them? So that's what I'm doing right now. I do think the RU-251 is also quite healthy. It is all up there still. So that's what we're going to have to keep in mind as well. The Yak Panther's not a problem. He's on 3 hit points. Obviously, I don't want to get shot by him whatsoever. So what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to reposition somewhat and try and get a different angle on these guys, because obviously they're behind the dunes where I can't attack them. So let's see what we can do. Obviously, oh, the RU-251 is a one-shot as well. That is very lovely. I'm spotted now, so I'm going to have to be careful because, yes, that's why. That is a stock. Yak Panther 2. Go for the RU-251. There we go. The big problem I have is the 50 TP, because that is pretty healthy. So, and Lorraine, of course. I forgot about that one. So, Lorraine is going to be the one that's going to make me lose this battle in the end. Maybe I can hunt down the Yak Panther, but that doesn't seem very likely. Obviously, the can't go into the cap here, because otherwise I'm going to reveal my position. So what we have now is we have a problem where I have to either find the Yak Panther, kill the Yak Panther, just use HE because 3 hit points, or find the Lorraine. There he is, he found me. I'm going spotted here, which is bad, because now the 50 TP also knows where I am. And I cannot fight both of them at the same time. What I have to do now is I have to push this Lorraine. Obviously, he's not good. You can already see that by the way he positions himself and plays himself. But here's the 50 TP. That now means I'm dead. So, well, that splits for you. 2 excellent VK168 teammates right there. However, it still showed that this vehicle can still be worth purchasing, because even with the worst of teams, you can still get decent results with this tank. Anyway, so that is the shop review for this week. Bye.